Okay, we're on to turn 28 now. What are we watching for this time? As usual, we want to kill this panther. With the two Jacksons here. Once that's gone, I'm going to feel a lot better. We're also dropping some mortars down here, down this back row, behind this row of houses. Because I reckon that's where Jen's moving most of his infantry. You can see all the spotting contacts there. I reckon that's where he's moving them. Simply because that way they're a little bit harder to get at. So, yeah, let's just press go. See what happens. I don't think that panther hasn't moved there. It's just the ping off the front there. Come on. Just need a bit of a lucky hit. Like that. Yes. Yes! Okay. Let's get a couple more in there, see if we can't kill the fucker. Make sure it's dead. Yeah, something shooting back at that Jackson there. I don't know whether that's just small arms or whether it's I don't know. Potentially it might even be the AA that Jen's got at the back. We'll see. Cool. We just saw at the end there that 222 there. Just in that last couple of seconds, the 222, the icon changed. Looks like there's an explosion, and then it turns into an infantry contact. So maybe we nailed that with a mortar. But yeah, let's get the turn going. Yeah, there they are. They spotted it. Bounce off the front. Bit of correction. Come on. Pow! Hit the weapon mount. And yes, it was the AA. It is the AA shooting at it. Like, you see all those traces flashing past there. Yeah. Because, you know, there's not like an awful lot of armor on top of these things. Well, obviously there's enough armor. Yeah, that's desperation when you're firing your... well, not desperation per se, but, you know, things are getting bad if you have to use your AA vehicles to try and take tanks on. So, yeah, pow! Look at that, right through there. And it spotted it. You know, look, it's turned the turret. It's seen it. Behave yourself, camera. So it knows it's there, or it knows something's there. And yeah, here we go. Yeah. So that's knocked out, knocked out, knocked out, knocked out. And there's all of those knocked out, and then the Hetzer. Let's do the usual check. Has the Hetzer moved? No. No. I am expecting Jen to recruit, like I say. See, and there's his AA vehicles. Yeah, and he's moved them up to try and get some fire out, but yeah. So let's see what's happened with the mortars. See, because we've got all Jen's infantry coming through here. Just make sure we got the 222 down there. There's the Panther at the top. No, so there's a bit of fire going out at all Jen's infantry here, but it doesn't look like it's really doing that much. Of course, you wouldn't really expect it to. You know, it's Very light fire. Right, now the Panther's gone, we can start moving the infantry up a little bit better. That was a good round. Yeah, definitely nailed something there. Ooh! Yeah, that was a close hit on the 222 there, wasn't it? Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah, right behind it. And it's been knocked out. And they're bailing. Cool. So we've got a little bit more freedom of movement there. Obviously before with that 20mm cannon on it, like angled up this street, can't really use the street very much. Now we could potentially move the Hellcat forward a bit more, so we've got the machine gun at least covering that that angle. Yep, things are looking up. What are those guys? Those guys are shooting over there now, aren't they? Yeah, you kill that roof. Yeah. Not fantastically accurate, but it's one of these things that people tend not to kind of grasp with combat missions sometimes, which is that, you know, your machine guns aren't amazing killing machines, not in the way that you'd expect them to be. It's more about suppression, especially the Americans ones. Yeah, the American ones with the lower rate of fire and things. He had binoculars and he's in a HQ team. He looks important. So has he got... No, you can't tell under the jacket. Sometimes you can see the shoulder boards. You can get an idea of the rank that you're dealing with. So it's that detail. Like, where's my... Let's find a platoon commander. Not him, he's dead. Okay. So which one are you? He's that one. Yeah, but of course they've all got great coats on, so we can't really see. But they do have usually have the ranks on them, which is obviously pretty handy. But yeah, those mortars have been relatively effective. And like I say, major threats are gone. So we should be able to start moving up. Gonna need to shoot up these a bit. Gonna need to shoot those up. Because obviously there's still a lot of firepower, you know, like 4 20mm cannons, that's going to ruin your day. So, I mean, obviously if they don't need to actually see any targets if they're firing into the town, they can just like pick buildings. So now that it's fairly safe, we might bring the Jacksons a bit further up. Of course, I say fairly safe. It's not impossible that Jen might have something up his sleeve, still something nasty. I'm still, you know, every turn I check that Hetzer to see if he's recruited it. Because that kind of worries me. Okay, so how come... you can always see what things are spotting by clicking on them. So, you know, if I can click on the church tower OP, it can see those three units there, and obviously when I click on what it can see, you can see it like reverse highlighted. But what's going on with the Hetzer here, I don't know, because according to this, that Jackson can see it. But if I click the Jackson, it can't see it. In fact, it can't see much of anything. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. Actually, I just had a thought, because I was near a TRP there. You see these AA vehicles in this target reference point here. Yeah, maybe we should start dropping something nasty on top of them. But yeah, all in all, let's just do a quick trends again. You know, looks like Jen's anti-tank capacity has just gone down the toilet. And the only thing I have to worry about here is his infantry, which is pushing up, and his fire support, which is still around here, I think. You know, the mortars and the MG42s, and of course the AA vehicles up there. But we are looking pretty good here. It's almost worth all the dead pixel tripping, isn't it? So I reckon those mortars are being pretty damn effective. So we'll leave them on for at least another minute. And we've got a couple of .60mm mortars here. It's only going to take us like 2 minutes, something like that, to put mortar fire down on the old... Ah, they don't have the range. Great. They're actually out of range. That one shouldn't be, that's still fairly close. Yeah. Just check to make sure we get them in there. So. So we don't need to put a lot of fire down on him, because Jen will just move him. He's not a potato. He'll move it out the way as soon as it starts getting shut up. Now, at least this Sherman can come out to play, and you know, it's going to do two things here. It's going to be bait. You know, let's be honest. And we're going to try and get it to cover up that back street there, where we're mortaring. You know, if we're lucky, we can get a bit of tag team going with the armour and the mortars. So the mortars will help pin the enemy in place. Well, both are going to... The machine guns and the 75mm gun on the tank are probably going to help pin the enemy in place, and then the mortars are going to destroy them. But yeah. Yeah. Let's move... let's move this half track up a little bit to peak that corner. Oh, it can't peak that corner because it's actually on a bit of reverse slope. That's interesting. But yeah, we'll you know, like I say, we've got some freedom of movement now, so we're going to take advantage of that as much as we can. You know, really try and that was a pretty cool camera movement, that, wasn't it? How did I do that? Yeah. Ooh. Pressing the wrong buttons. That's E and F, if anybody wants to know. So, yeah, E and Q obviously are turn, and then R, you can tilt the camera. R and F. Romeo Foxtrot. Anyway. God, I'm easily amused today. let's start moving the peoples up. What can we see from that building? Not much. How was this one? Oh yeah, we can spot the bridge from there, can't we? So let's run those guys across there. Get him in that house. And deploy the MG in there. But you're doing pretty well. Who else have we got from that platoon, or are they all dead? They're all dead on me. Right. Let's start moving up the HQ element of that platoon. In fact, all the squads. Why not? That's safe, isn't it? Yeah. Start moving all that up. And, get that deployed. Seems as though if we're going to leave that half track there, it's got a radio in it, so we should be able to communicate. It's the same reason why we're able to communicate with that mortar team there, because this has a radio in it. So even though they're not quite in command, like the HQ unit is over here, you know, that's a long way away, and the other units in its you know, the dispersed elements, shall we say, of that platoon aren't in contact with the HQ unit, but this guy is, because of the radio. So they have a radio, and the half track has a radio, and the mortar is next to the half track. This kind of stuff can take a bit of getting used to, you know, if you're not used to combat mission. And I know for a fact that that 20mm had a go at the Hellcat, so we're not going to poke the Hellcat out. Especially in the last mission, not in the last mission, but the last game that me and Jen played before I took over from Feld Ninja. There was a Hellcat that got taken out by a 20mm cannon. So, you know, obviously we want to avoid that happening again. How are we doing on ammo for the mortars? It's impossible to tell because they're pooling it all. Well, not possible, but difficult to tell because they're pooling it all. Right, well, let's move that Jackson back because, you know, it did get pinged by the AA, even though, you know, didn't really do any damage or anything. How are the tracks doing on this? So the tracks are getting progressively damaged because I keep sending it through hedges. Not through hedges, but through fences. So let's move it up here. We don't have a need for speed here. Let's reverse. How did I get in? Okay, there we go. Pop it through there. Through there, and you know, we can head up this way with Jen's AA vehicles. You know, they're going to be masked by the terrain there, and we'll open up another angle from over here with it, just so, you know, we're not risking anything basically. Obviously this isn't an amazing vehicle for this kind of thing like the Overwatch, because looking at the ammo, what, we've got 11 HE shells, A lot of 50 cal ammo, so that, you know, that's not to be sniffed at, but at the same time, we're not talking about some kind of amazing ability. Of course, Jen is in a really bad position here. You know, if I was on his side, I'd probably be like, my hand would be hovering over that ceasefire button. In total honesty, because I'm not sure how he's gonna get anything done. Like I say, he's got to. Well, I hit the right buttons, you know. If we ceasefire now, it's going to be a, you know, I'm going to win because I've got a major point and a minor point, and Jen just has, you know, he's got to have some troops in here just to hold the point. So he's got a minimum point, and this one, the Stavelot Bridge one, is disputed, so nobody gets any points for it whatsoever. And yeah, so if we ceasefire now, he loses on that basis. And then we've got casualties, you know. It's hard to say who's suffered most here, but I'd put money on it being fairly even, because even though, you know, we destroyed almost all of, well, what we think is all of Jen's tanks, and we've probably really hammered his infantry down here with the artillery and the mortars and things, and just general attrition, I've also gotten hammered as well. You know, I've lost like 4 Shermans in 1 minute tonight, or a couple of minutes, so we'll see how this all pans out. But a lot of the pressure is off now, or at least it's off me. And let's try and start picking up the wounded where we can. Still got this huge pile of dead pixels up and down here. I was reading, actually, I always assumed that you got less points or more points for buddy aiding your little guys, but apparently you don't. There's at least 1 German still hanging around here, plus more, maybe more. We haven't seen anything come up this way, but you know, it's not impossible that Jen might try and sneak a squad up through here, just to get it into the cap and dispute it. Depends how much you got across down here. So that's something for us to do. Just sweep and clear, I suppose. But yeah, things are looking good. 7 minutes still there. We'll just get the planes to fire off the rest of their ammunition, and we'll see what Jen does. If he pushes, we've got the arty up our sleeve, so that should do the trick. And there we go, off it goes.